Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we go to Chicagoland in both the Xfinity Series and in the Cup Series, so hopefully we can have a strong run, though this is a track that I have struggled at throughout my whole career, so we're kind of not looking necessarily forward to this race, at least in the Cup Series. We do go to the Xfinity race and we had Erik Jones, though, in the cars. You see him starting down on the inside line in about 13th or so as he comes through turns 1 and turns 2, looking to the inside of Brandon Jones there as he came down the back straightaway. So Jones would actually be able to work his way forwards pretty quickly in this race. Not very far up ahead. It certainly seems like we need to put a little bit more money into this team if we want to be successful, because by the midway point or so, Jones had only barely worked his way inside of the top 10 at this point as he went down into turns 1, making it 3 wide with Hemrick and Elliott Sadler. Moving up, though, into that 6th position, as well as trying to take 5th from Ryan Truex, but he wouldn't be able to make that happen as he would stay in the 6th position as it comes through turns 3 and turns 4. Now on the final lap at this point as he exits turn 4, sitting in that 6th position, Jones would come through to finish in that spot for us here in the Xfinity Series. So a solid result from Erik Jones and nothing to be disappointed about. So hopefully we can continue this type of momentum over to the Cup Series race, which is very unlikely because, like I said, Chicago is a track that I struggle at a lot. Probably it might be my worst track on the schedule other than Kansas or Indianapolis. Those are really my 3 tracks that I struggle at really bad. So hopefully we can maybe do something. I decided to put a brand new setup into this car because this is a track I need to run a full setup to even have a chance at. So I decided to put a full setup in like I have before at this track, and we come through turns 3 and turns 4 in qualifying now, and I noticed right away that we still don't have the speed that we need in qualifying as we come through the triangle, cutting down to the apron across the line with a 29.572. We will start Chicagoland from the 17th position, so still some work to do at this track that we continue to struggle at. So hopefully we move forward here in Chicago.
Hello everyone and welcome to Chicagoland Speedway for today's running of the Overton's 400. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series is stopping in Joliet much earlier than in years past. Up until the beginning of the 2018 season, this venue hosted the first event of the playoffs, but now it closes out the first half of the regular season. Whenever Chicagoland appears on the schedule, this 1.5-mile D-shaped tri-oval is going to be a formidable challenge. Will we see a close finish, or will someone breeze into victory lane here in the Windy City? Let's send it down to the track as the green flag is in the air.
All right, we're ready to go green here in Chicagoland for the Overton's 400. Ryan Newman didn't have a good practice session, so that team knows they can do better. Kurt Busch on the pole. He has been dominant all weekend. He looks to get some more playoff points with maybe a stage win and a race victory here today in Chicago as we get ready to go green from the 17th starting position behind the 21 of Menard as the green flag is out, and we are ready to go here in Chicago. Kurt Busch and Ryan Blaney will lead the way down towards turns 1 with Kyle Busch behind them both as we go down into the corner for the first time side by side with David Reagan, who had a great qualifying effort, as now we clear him and look to the inside of Jimmy Johnson, who continues to try and turn his rough season around after he won the Daytona 500. It's just been a downhill spiral since then, so he looks to turn it around today in Chicago as we head down towards turns 3. Maybe some rumblings of Jimmy Johnson retiring possibly soon from this career mode. It's not confirmed, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out now as we look to the inside of Paul Menard across the line, making a 3 wide with him and former teammate of Kevin Harvick as we head down into turns 1 and turns 2, clearing Paul Menard now as we move up into that 13th position. And I found a little bit of a, I guess you could call it a trick at Chicago, because we always struggle to run even top 15 here, but I decided that we're going to try something different in this race. We're going to just try and stay in the draft, because I felt like the draft could really help me move my way forwards and stay in the top 10, as you see now in turn 3 on lap 3, making a move on the inside of Almirola, moving ourselves into the top 10 now, even looking to the left-hand side of Daniel Suarez in the number 41, who's having a great run as we come through the tribal. But Suarez, he would be able to build up the momentum on the straightaway as I was trying to get him in front of me, because we need a car in front of me to draft, so we would fall in line behind him. Eric Almirola, he would actually be able to get back past me, but we would all run Martin Truex Jr. down to this point as Kevin Harvick looks to my inside, but I was just staying in the draft at this point because I knew this is my best chance to be able to maintain track position as we get down in behind the 4 of Kevin Harvick as we pass the halfway point now in stage 1, just trying to make sure I don't drop out of this top 10 as I decided we're just going to try and stay in this draft. And unfortunately though, by the time we came towards the final lap of the stage, we had drifted back to P13 as we hit the white flag. Looking to the right-hand side now of Alex Bowman as we go down into turns 1 and turns 2. So we certainly have speed, just not enough as we come out of turn 2. They're going 3 wide up ahead between Reagan, Keselowski, and Harvick. And now Joey Logano's going to join into the party as we go down into turn 3. They're going to go 4 wide into turns 3 and turns 4 on the final lap of the stage. Now Bowman's going to stick his nose up there, and he's going to briefly make it 5 wide as Harvick gets into the wall now as we come out of turn 4. And we're going to come through to actually take the position from Harvick and come through to get P12 as they briefly went 5 wide in turns 3 and turns 4 there. So certainly one heck of a moment, but we would come through to get P12 in the stage after we just drifted back. And I noticed that it didn't take long at all for the tires to really fall off at this track, and I knew that was going to be a problem for myself, especially in the last stage, that we're probably going to hit a drop-off point and drop off really quickly. So hopefully we're going to be able to find a way to maintain this. But now as we get ready to start this next stage, we do not lose any positions from pit stops, so we're ready to go green as stage 2 is underway here in Chicagoland behind the number 38 now of David Reagan, who's having a brilliant race so far here in Chicago. And immediately I have an opportunity to get to the bottom line, so of course I'm going to hop on that opportunity and fall in behind the 2 of Brad Keselowski as we head down through turns 1 and turns 2. Not a great restart for myself as I was really just too worried or committed to get to that bottom line, and that slowed up my momentum as Chris Buescher, another driver who you usually don't see up this far in the field, running up here now as we look to the inside of David Reagan as we come through out of turn 4, coming through to complete this first lap in this second stage. Looking to the inside now of Ryan Blaney as we try to enter the top 10 as Kyle Busch right now leads over his brother of Kurt Busch as we head down into turns 1 and turns 2 on the inside now of Eric Almirola. So certainly we have a lot of speed on the short run when we're in the draft, but once we get to that long run, the car is just really too tight and I can't really hold it down like I need to be, and it usually costs me a bunch of positions. Now as we get onto the apron there in turn 3, but we make a big save as we come through the center of the corner, but we would drift back a few positions, but we would be able to make these positions back up as we would get up to P11 here within just the next couple of laps, looking to the inside of Daniel Suarez, and we would work our way back into the top 10. And I would just really try to follow the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., but Kevin Harvick would actually get to my inside now as we come through turn 2. This is on lap 13 of the stage now, so closing in towards the end of the stage as we try to get in front of William Byron, but we made a brief contact there as we go down into turn 3 side by side with the 24 of Byron as Harvick, he blows right on past Martin Truex Jr. So it looked like I was kind of wasting my own time riding behind the 19 of Truex, and we would drift back now outside of the top 10, obviously sitting down in P14 as I would actually slow down just so I could get in line behind Jimmy Johnson. We would kind of work up a couple more spots now as we get to the white flag in stage 2, moving up into that 12th position, but we had started to get a little bit more spread out now as I'm riding behind Chris Buescher, but I'm really struggling at this point to turn the car as we've hit that drop-off point, so I'm just holding on for dear life, because if Ryan Blaney gets to my inside, we could just continue to move backwards as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time in this second stage. Once again, doesn't look like we're going to get any stage points now as we come out of turn 4 just in front of Blaney, as it's going to be side by side as we come through across the line. Blaney's going to edge me out as we get P13 in stage 2, so still not looking like we quite need or have the speed that we need. It seemed like though at this point I was running better than I had in past races at Chicago, as Kurt Busch did come through to win the stage. We would take 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires, and we would lose 14 positions because of NASCAR Heat AI pit logic, as we now have some work to do for this final stage here in Chicago as the green flag is out, and we are underway for potentially the final time now in Chicagoland behind the 3 of Austin Dillon. We're going to have to be aggressive here if we want to move our way forwards, because we know that the tires really like to fall off here in Chicago more than it seems like other tracks. It seems like the tires fall off here and I'm just dead. Usually at other tracks I can maintain a little bit when the tires fall off, but this one it's like I don't even stand a chance now as we come down the back straight. We're looking to that left hand side of Clint Boyer as we go down into turn 3, trying to get all these positions that I can on this restart now, as it looks like Kyle Busch up ahead had a pretty bad restart on that front row as he is way up on that outside, but it looked like he got back down in line now as we come through, sitting P19 after the first lap in this third and final stage. Kurt Busch first, Eric Almirola second, David Reagan in the top 3 now as we look to the inside of Kyle Larson as we come down the back straightaway. And we're certainly doing a solid job moving forward early in this final stage now, as we would get ahead of the 42 of Larson and look to the inside of Jimmy Johnson, who continues to struggle here in Chicago. They just seem to not be able to turn things around with that 48 team right now, and we would still be sitting P17 as we came to lap 45, making it 3 wide though with McMurray and Blaney as we head down into turn 3, trying to gain a couple more spots now as we do get past them both and move up into P14 for a brief moment, and we will continue moving forward as we hit 20 laps to go. Now in P11, looking to the inside of Joey Logano as we come out of turn 2, now moving up into a top 10 position, as the draft is so important for me at this track right now, which you usually don't say at a mile and a half, but it certainly is like that here in Chicago. Now as we come through turn 3, getting ahead of Chris Buescher, moving into P9 as we would look to the inside as well of Martin Truex Jr. move up into the 8th position, so continuing to move forwards at this point as we would also pass Kevin Harvick and take P7 away. But I noticed that at this point we were starting to hit that tire drop-off that I had mentioned about many times already in this video as we were closing in on the back of Kyle Busch, but this would start to stall out now as we came through just a few laps later. Kevin Harvick, he would be able to look to my inside just about there as we came through turns 3 and 4, but we would cover him off until we came out of turn 4. I just got too tight and allowed Harvick to get to my inside, and we would continue to fall down the order all the way outside of the top 10 because of just the drop-off that I was dealing with. Now as you see me P12 with less than 10 laps to go at this point, as Chase Elliott, he would come through and just drive right on past me. I didn't even have a chance against him. So we were continuing to just fall down the order at this point now as we were just trying to hold on, as I just couldn't do anything at this point. I was just doing my best to hold the car on the bottom, but I was really struggling to make that happen as we come out of turn 4. Elliott just driving off in the distance. We come to just another lap later and he is almost a second ahead at this point as we come through turns 2, closing in on the final handful of laps of this race as the cars behind close in quickly as there's smoke up ahead, and a caution comes out to from Joey Logano having an issue. I don't know if he blew a tire or an engine. Either way, they felt the need to put out the yellow as he goes spinning in and gets hit by Chase Elliott, but we would stay out, and this would set us up for NASCAR overtime here in the 12th position as we get ready to go green as the green flag returns, and we are underway once again in Chicago, the 4th overtime in the last 5 races now as we're ready to go with 2 to go now, as we're going to be very aggressive as we're going to make a 3 wide up the middle between Elliott and Chris Buescher as we head down into turns 1 and turn 2. Kurt Busch in command as we come through the center of the corners. He looks for another victory as we come out of turn 2, still 3 wide with Buescher now as Larson looks to my inside, so not the best first half of a lap of this overtime as we side draft to 42 just a little bit there, trying to stall out his momentum, but he gets clear anyways as we come out of turn 4. Approaching the white flag, Kurt Busch tries to get another win added and some more playoff points as we battle alongside Paul Menard as we head down towards turns 1 and turns 2 for the final time here in Chicagoland. Busch still in front. Kyle Busch, his brother, sits in the 2nd position as Johnson behind us looks to the inside of Menard as we come down the back straightaway for the final time here in Chicago. Kurt Busch looking like he's going to bring home the victory as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4. Can't even get the car down turn to the bottom because it was so tight with these dead tires at this point. As we come out of turn 4 through the tri-oval, Kurt Busch will win in Chicagoland as we edge out Jimmy Johnson for the 12th position here in Chicago, which doesn't sound very good, but really considering how I have run here in the past, this was a pretty solid run in my opinion, so I wasn't really too disappointed with it. I think that if things would have played out a little bit better with the tire fall off and stuff, maybe we could have gotten a top 10, but once you kind of hit the tire fall off, you just drop and drop and drop now as we sit P4 in the standings, 99 points behind the points leader of Kyle Busch, so he's certainly in command. And in the next episode, we will be going to the 2nd and final Daytona race of the season, so if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated, so hopefully we can go to Daytona and have a chance at victory over there, as Kurt Busch now has 2 wins after his win in today's episode, as Jamie McMurray is the first guy out of the playoffs, and he's 81 points out, as Austin Dillon now holds the last spot in the playoffs. So that'll do it for this one. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.